Greetings and welcome back to Doctor Who Revisited, where I go through every single episode of Doctor Who from 1963 all the way to 2022 and review them. And after the big, massive season finale level episode slash serial of last week with the invasion, we're now back to the usual format of just regular 4-part filler episode with the Krotons. Honestly, there really isn't much I can say about this episode other than it's a Doctor Who episode. And not much else. It's another 4-part serial. Thankfully, it's not missing. It is not another missing episode. All 4 parts of the serial have survived. And, yeah, it's a sci-fi adventure. They land on a planet. We still don't know where. We encounter this brand new civilization who are under siege by these alien invaders who are potentially from another universe. I don't know. They do mention at one point in the episode that they need to return to their own cosmos. I don't know if that's just Kroton slang for planet or galaxy, but I mean, the lack of specificity there kind of seems to suggest that maybe they're from a universe where crystalline life forms exist. But I don't know. It could be from our universe, could very well not be. I don't think it really matters. I do love the design of the Krotons. As a straight-up design for a Doctor Who classic monster, I think they went all out with this one. As a matter of fact, I think they might have went further than their budget could sustain. Because you'll notice that we hardly ever do see them from below what humans would call the waist area, below the torso. We don't really actually get to see their legs, except in really rare occurrences during the episode and in promotional pictures. But yeah, I love the shape of their head. I love their voice. They've got great voice. I love the asymmetry of their hands, where they have this sharp claw hand at one end and like a flat grabber piece, I don't know what to call it, in the other. That's cool. And their mission is pretty solid as far as Doctor Who villains go. They're using the quote-unquote primitive life forms of the planet they happen to land on as fuel to get themselves back into space and get back to their homeworld. I will say this episode does have a lot of credit for being the first Robert Holmes script in all of Doctor Who canon. Robert Holmes, obviously, major player in Doctor Who during the Pertwee and Tom Baker era, but this was his first. This was his debut episode, and you can really do tell that the imagination and the creativity for alien creatures is a massive one with Robert Holmes. Obviously, he's created some of the most iconic Doctor Who villains of all time, and the Krotons, I suppose, is a good rough sketch for some of the greatness that we're about to get with this person. Unfortunately, I can't really quite say the same for the storytelling in the episode. Obviously, some of the greatest Doctor Who serials of all time have been written by Robert Holmes, but looking back, a lot of them do take a lot of their inspiration from this episode, which in a way kind of makes this episode a little less special because so many other serials have taken their page from this one and just did it better. I mean, the Gons themselves are okay. I mean, they're pretty generic as far as Doctor Who humanoid alien races, but there really isn't anything too special about them. It's very, in a way, it's very similar to the people from the Dominators episode, and a serial that is in the same season as the Krotons episode. You know, a society built on lies and pacifism. There's this one guy who's like a standout who wants to rebel against the system and the people telling everyone what to do. And eventually the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe show up and just help them out. The only main difference is in the Dominators, they pretty much stay the same as they used to be. And in this episode, they sort of get rid of the Krotons by the end and sort of set their new civilization going forward. And there really isn't much else beside that. I do love that this is really the start of, or really not really the start of, but just, you know, another example of the Doctor leaving before everyone starts asking questions. You know, the whole policy of non-interference is still there to some extent, where the Doctor does interfere, he does save people, potentially maybe changing history, I don't know, I don't live on that planet, so I don't know the history, but he does help out where he can, but he doesn't stick around to really overtake the history into his own hands. Ironically, that's really what hurt history in the Eccleston era, but I love that they're really setting up this idea of the Doctor helps where he can, but he doesn't, you know, he can't do everything for the people of the universe. He's just a friendly helper who shows up unexpectedly and changes things for the better, hopefully. So, yeah. The society being fed lies by the people they worship, not something too out of the ordinary from either sci-fi or real life, as it happens. But, yeah, the Doctor's cleverness is on full display. Zoe's genius is on full display again in this episode as well. Jamie's courage is also on full display in this episode. So this episode, in a way, really does have all the makings of a Patrick Troughton era serial. And there's really nothing else to it. Cool-looking monsters, generic written society of people, the Doctor's cunningness, Zoe's genius, and Jamie's rushness. And, yeah, there really isn't anything else to say other than I like this episode, but, you know, it is another filler episode. So let's just move on so I can get to other episodes and maybe finish up the Troughton era very, very soon, which is very much nearing its end. So, thank you for watching. If you have, let me know what you think about the Krotons, and, that's it. So, protect the Dinotrope! Hi there! Thank you for watching the video. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends. I'll see you next time.